Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you for joining me once again. I really appreciate everyone who showed support in all the videos about investing and it showed interest. Now I want to talk about and then get a series of videos going about leadership and emotional intelligence. I really feel like I want to bring them hand in hand, especially for the aspiring leaders out there. Maybe where you work, you want to become a manager, you want to become a leader. Perhaps those who are already leaders and they want to become a better leader. Maybe they're not getting the results they want. How do I get the results that I want? Want to get my team to perform at higher levels. That kind of stuff is what I like to talk about, and maybe enlighten you with some of these concepts that are out there now. That there's a big transition going on. Everything that is that military controlling command style leadership, it's slowly fading away, and a lot of companies, big Fortune 500 companies, have already definitely moved away from that style. It's just very outdated. It doesn't work anymore. It worked back in the industry when we're building cars and we're doing all these kinds of things, factories here and all this stuff, but that's not, we've moved away from the factory worker to the knowledge worker, and it's that style of leadership is just not applying anymore like it did back then. I don't know. Luckily, I didn't live in those years. I'd hate to live or work in that environment, that military style control leadership. Like, to me, it's just, it kills creativity, it kills inspiration, it does a lot to sabotage the normal worker like us, right? So I really hope that you do take interest in even if you're not you don't see yourself being a leader soon, to think like a leader, even though if you're just, an employee in a team, still to think like a leader is what got me into becoming a leader of a team, and now I have an opportunity to train 45 people of the company I work for. These people have allowed me to invest into their knowledge. They've shown a great interest in what I've done, and I appreciate all their support, and everyone where I work and everyone who goes to the trainings that I do every month. I appreciate all those people. It's great to see these kinds of concepts work in the real life, to actually get a response back. It's great. That's what I've always kind of wanted to do, and I continue trying to pursue it. So we're just going to talk about quick 3 principles. We're just give you a little bit, and then we'll kind of get more and more into it, more in depth. But I just want to talk about the 3 key principles to developing a high performance team. And this is if you're a leader, right? How do you get your team to perform at higher levels, not just, average results? How do I get my team to perform higher? And there's 3 key principles. First of all, you got to get the right people on the bus. What does this mean? That, when I first had opportunity to build a team where I work at now, there was a lot of hiring and firing at the beginning. Now, I don't like to attack these kinds of issues like you gotta fire everybody, these people don't do what they have to do. No, like I believe in giving people a chance. I believe in leading people in the right direction. And after that, if they don't make the leap, if they don't make the decision to take the material and run with it and accept the support and do their part, because it's always hard work when you try to do these things that create change. Change is just difficult for human beings, and all of us in general. Change is difficult. Change for companies, change for individuals, change is always difficult. But I believe in giving people the opportunity. Now, if they can't meet the expectations that you clearly set, then you got to talk about getting the wrong people off the bus and the right people on the bus. Find those employees that do want to be taught, and they want to contribute, and they want to grow. Growing the team, growing the company, growing revenue, everything grows, and it starts from the front lines, right? That's us, the workers. It starts with us. We're the moving hands of all this stuff. If we're not in it, if we're not being inspired, if we're not seeing growth, if we're not seeing support, it's very hard for you to perform at high levels. So getting the right people on the bus, getting the right people with the right attitudes is the first principle. The second one, when you have these people, is bridging the skills gap. What does that mean? Training. You got to train. I mean, this person might be inspired, they may be all willing, but if you're not providing them the tools and the training to be of use, to be able to contribute, to then even contribute back, as they start to learn and they start to kind of see how things work. They might have ideas that might, boom, set your performance even higher. But that's not possible if you're not creating the space for these employees to first be trained and then the space to contribute and, bring back ideas forward. Once again, the front lines. As a manager, it may take you a minute to see some kind of trend or something happening, whether it's good or bad, but your frontline workers, they usually see it they're the first ones out there. They're the ones doing the actual work, dealing with the customers, being in front of the work. They see firsthand the bad and the good, so creating a space for them to come back and contribute, that all is part of that training and getting feedback as well, which kind of leads right into the third principle, which is building community. So once you got the right people on the bus, you start bridging that skills gap, train, then you have to build community in your team. What does that mean? You build community, you build a team of people that are united, that have one common goal, that contribute, they work well together. And that's where the emotional intelligence part comes in. And as if you haven't noticed, I put a book out there on emotions, who's controlling whom. And that's where this kind of blends all in. It's to me, it goes hand in hand, leadership and emotional intelligence. So that emotional intelligence allows you to create community with your team. Your ability to keep your cool under when emotions are high, when things are a little sensitive, when there's a lot of work, when certain people in the team maybe ain't performing like the rest, all those kinds of things that throw emotions and drive kind of like low results, all those kinds of things. An emotionally intelligent leader knows how to react to those things, knows how to lead and steer the team back into, feeling like a team again, because it's not easy. You have different people, were raised different. They all have different beliefs and values, and they all have their own experiences and their own emotions and all these things that you don't control. So, if you're not emotionally intelligent, then these people you're never going to get them to follow a single path. And not only just for your own benefit, it's for their benefit as well. You all benefit from working as a team, driving results, giving feedback to each other, good and bad, knowing how to address the bad, all those little things. There's so many little angles about everything. When you start thinking about all these things in a strategic way, where there's a best practices for every of these little approaches, whether it's giving someone good feedback, giving some bad feedback, whether it's, setting expectations for your employees, all these kinds of things. There's a proper way to do it and there's a negative way to do it, or incorrect way to do it, right? So investing into your knowledge about what those little things are that make it so that you get the results you want. You could be giving someone feedback thinking, this person needs a feedback, they're going to grow from it. But the way you delivered it, not only was the person not receptive to it, their walls went up, they were offended, and now they think you're a bad leader, and you were trying to help them, so results like that and situations like that happen all the time, where people with great potential are held back by their lack of emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, because part of the emotional awareness is not just your own emotional awareness, but being emotionally aware of those around you as well. And the next topic we're going to talk about, the next video, will be about the 4 personality types. There's 4 personality types that are the most well accepted globally. Maybe some have heard it. It's called the DISC assessment. That's one of the many assessments that exist, where it sets you in one of these 4 quadrants. The goal as you start to analyze this, especially as a leader, is to be right in the middle where you can adapt to the 4 different personalities, hence the type of personalities you're going to deal with in the teams that you may be managing or may be managing in the future. You're going to be running into all of them, so knowing how to communicate to each personality type, knowing their strengths and weaknesses. Not to say that everyone's like, that's you and I'm going to categorize you. And it's like, no, I'm not trying to label people, but it's well accepted that everyone's dominant in one of the 4 quadrants, right? But one of the great things about emotional intelligence is that you can learn it. I mean, IQ, you can work really hard to raise your IQ, and you hit a ceiling where you can't really go past it. EQ, emotional intelligence, you can man, you can expand your emotional intelligence just like that by investing into it, no matter what age. I mean, studies have been drawn and put together about this, and people of all ages can improve their EQ, emotional intelligence, a lot and get results from it, you know. And another study done is that they put together, you know, they kind of categorize all these different industries and different revenue brackets to really make level the playing field. And they found that the highest earning VPs and managers and owners were those with high emotional intelligence. So there's a direct correlation between being emotionally intelligent, especially at work. And I hope you're taking this home too. I mean, I hope you're not just being emotionally intelligent at work, also at home, you know. But being emotionally intelligent were the highest earners in their brackets, right? In their industries, in the same revenue bracket. So there's definitely a profit to be made from being emotionally intelligent. And I think it's really driving the future, you know, of the new style of leadership, you know, of caring more than just, not more just tell and control and command your employees and this is how you drive results and go, go, go. Like, no, there's more to it now. That's old school. Now there's a lot of, you know, things that you have to deal with the new generations that are coming into the workforce. We have the highest levels of depression, highest levels of all these disease. I mean, sure you guys are familiar with all the different names out there, all the different kinds of labels and diagnoses that they put on people now. And it's a real thing in the sense that people are going to need leaders that are more caring than they used to be, you know, because this is going to be the workforce now. You're not going to get to hire and fire till you get people that are exactly like you. That's never going to happen, right? So you got to know how to contribute back and build high performing teams, even with the new kinds of problems out there and mental health issues that are going to be hitting the workforce, you know, in these new generations. And not to say it doesn't exist with my generation, other generations. Of course, it's across all the boards, but I mean, there's definitely a lot more, at least there's a lot more awareness of it now. Maybe that's why it's definitely being labeled as something coming, you know, but it's just because there's just much more awareness about it now. That's all we have to today. We'll also be talking about leadership, servant leadership. My next book's going to be on leadership, so I kind of want to tie it all in together. You know, I hope that you're finding value and investing. I mean, this is all time. It's 12 minutes so far. If you watch this video, that's 12 minutes of your time, you know, and I appreciate your time. And there's definitely valuable because everyone's fighting for your time. It's the reality of it. Your phone, your book, I mean, your kids, your work, everything's fighting for your time now, right? So but one thing I will tell you, if you invest your time in getting things that add value to you, you're going to see a return in that investment. And I've seen it personally in a monetary way, in a sense of finding more happiness and a stronger relationship, in better connections with people. That's the returns I've seen just from working on these kinds of things, right? So I highly encourage you to take it serious, to challenge yourself. Like I said, change is always difficult, but if you start somewhere, they say you overestimate what you can do in 1 year, but you underestimate what you can do in 5 years. So, you know, take that into consideration. You know, it takes hard work. I think that's what really, you know, is something I take out of it. It takes work, it takes consistency, it takes dedication. But if you do it, there's a lot of rewards on the other end, right? So I appreciate your time, and I thank you guys.